My beloved child, today is not merely another day passing like all the others, because I am calling you to pause in the middle of your familiar rhythm and recognize that an important transformation has already begun within you. I, Michael, have not come to place you beneath the pressure of a countdown clock. Nor do I want you to believe that the love of heaven will disappear if you cannot understand everything within 30 short minutes. I have come to remind you that there are moments which, when received with awareness, can change the way you walk for many years afterward. In the midst of countless noises, you paused, and that pause is giving you an opportunity to hear what haste usually conceals. Jesus is drawing near, not to rebuke your weariness, but to help you recognize that you have carried too much alone, and that the time has come for you to be led back into peace. I know that the past months have not been easy. You tried to keep everything from collapsing, even when you no longer knew where your strength was coming from. There were questions you never spoke aloud because you feared others would not understand. There were nights when your body lay still while your mind continued moving through everything that made you anxious. You quietly wondered how much longer you could endure. Then rose the next morning and continued as though nothing had happened. Jesus saw those moments. He did not stand at a distance judging your weakness, but drew closer when you no longer possessed enough strength to seek him. And I was sent to guard this space of peace, helping you understand that exhaustion is not evidence that you have failed. Sometimes it simply shows that you have struggled for too long without allowing yourself to rest. Perhaps before stopping here, you felt a very gentle prompting, as though your heart was searching for an answer that reason could not yet name. Do not quickly turn that feeling into a frightening prophecy. Receive it as a bell calling you back to what is true. Perhaps you need to reconsider a decision you have postponed, a boundary that has repeatedly been crossed, or a dream you buried because you feared disappointment. Genuine guidance does not make you lose your calmness. It causes what was unclear to become gradually brighter. It does not pressure you to rush forward without reflection, but neither does it permit you to continue hiding behind familiar excuses. I am teaching you to distinguish between the urgency of fear and the gentle insistence of conscience. A voice that throws you into panic is not one you need to follow. Guidance that comes from light leaves steadiness within you, even when what it asks may be difficult. There are doors in life that open only when you have matured enough to enter without losing yourself. Yet do not believe they will remain permanently closed simply because you need time to prepare. What truly belongs to you is not built upon manipulation or threats. I only want you to stop postponing the actions you already know are right. If you need to apologize, do it sincerely. If you need to end a cycle that is exhausting you, leave it without cultivating hatred. If you need to begin again, do not wait until every fear has disappeared. Because courage does not mean that you no longer feel afraid. It means that you do not allow fear to decide for you. The sacred threshold is not hidden in some mysterious place. It appears whenever you stand between two choices, repeating your former self or moving toward what is healthier. The change being prepared in your life does not need to be announced immediately to everyone. Some seeds grow best when protected from hurried eyes, judgmental words, and opinions that were never invited. I am not telling you to isolate yourself or conceal what troubles you from someone trustworthy. I am reminding you to choose carefully where you place what is still tender and new. Not everyone is gentle enough to hold a dream while it is still forming. Some people may weaken your confidence unintentionally because they see your future through the limits of their own experience. Therefore, Strengthen your plans through action before spending too many words explaining them. Allow the results to speak gradually. Silence in this season is not fear. It is the way you protect your energy. Focus and what is being built. I am standing at the edge of your new journey with the sword of discernment. That sword is not directed toward any person and must not be used to feed suspicion. It cuts away the voices that make you believe you are not good enough, the memories that cause you to expect failure, and the habits that keep pulling you back to places that repeatedly wounded you. What I am guarding is not a distant vision, but the clarity slowly forming within you. I want to protect you from allowing one moment of distraction to destroy months of preparation. But this does not mean that you must fear every moment of weariness. Rest when you need to, but do not give up. Step back so that you can see clearly, but do not return merely because the new path feels unfamiliar. Listen to wise counsel, but do not hand the authority over your future to people who have never understood your journey. What Jesus is preparing does not remove your responsibility. Guidance does not replace your need to act. Learn and change. If you pray for a new opportunity, prepare the ability needed to preserve it. If you desire a healthy relationship, heal the ways you react from old wounds. If you desire peace, stop inviting back the things that continually bring chaos into your life. Heaven may open a door, but you must choose to walk through it. I may illuminate the path, but you must place your feet upon it and continue. Do not wait for an extraordinary sign while ordinary responsibilities remain unfinished. A new life is built through the way you keep your word. Manage your time, care for your health, and remain faithful to what is good, even when no one recognizes you. During the time ahead, do not try to find every answer at once. Allow your mind to become quiet and ask what is most important for you to do today. Perhaps it is completing something unfinished. Perhaps you need to turn down the noise. Rest and give your body a chance to recover. Perhaps you must honestly admit that a certain direction no longer fits you. You do not have to repair your entire life in one afternoon. If the next step is taken with integrity, you have already changed the direction of your future. What is sacred is not present only in great moments. It also appears in the small choice not to react in anger, not to return to an old habit, and not to allow another person's judgment to destroy your peace. I also want you to remember that not every distraction is a force fighting against you. Sometimes you lose focus because you have worked too hard. Sometimes your mind becomes chaotic because you have not rested or faced emotions that have been suppressed. Do not place a frightening meaning upon every difficulty and make yourself even more exhausted. Care for what is practical before you. Drink water. Sleep enough. Reduce content that creates tension. And speak with someone trustworthy when your heart becomes too heavy. Spiritual maturity does not remove you from reality. It helps you become more fully present in life. Recognize your needs and choose what is healthy instead of merely chasing intense feelings. My beloved child, I do not stand in your future to prevent every trial. I stand there to remind you that whatever comes, you no longer have to face it as the person you once were. You have become wiser, deeper, and more capable of recognizing what once deceived you easily. Doubt will no longer rule freely when you verify through truth. Outside voices will not be able to redirect you when you understand your value and purpose. Distraction will not destroy what is being built if you learn how to return after each time you wander. You do not need to be perfect in order to be guided. You need only to be honest, willing to learn, and unwilling to continue cooperating with what you already know is making you smaller. Therefore, receive this moment with peace. Jesus draws near not to pressure you, but to remind you that your sighs have been heard. I am present not to make you afraid that a door is about to close, but to help you recognize which door is truly worth entering. Protect what is forming through humility, disciplina, and discerning choices. Do not tell everyone too soon, but neither should you remain isolated when you need help. Do not allow fear to pressure you, but do not use caution as an excuse to delay forever. Today, choose one right thing and do it. That quiet decision will become the beginning of the change you have been waiting for. I remain here, guarding the clarity within you and leading you toward the future, not through panic, but through gentle, steady, and peaceful courage. Now the things that were hidden are gradually losing their strength, not because you must seek revenge, but because your maturity and peace make what is false increasingly difficult to sustain. The person who once hurt you may feel uneasy when they see you again, because they no longer see the version of you who was easily guided, easily accepted blame, and easily returned because of a few gentle words. They will recognize that you have changed, not necessarily through what you say, but through your calm gaze, your ability to maintain distance, and the steadiness that no longer depends upon their reaction. Yet do not treat a forced smile, trembling hands, or avoiding eyes as absolute evidence of guilt. There are many reasons a person may behave unusually. Allow truth to be confirmed through actions, clear words, and what can be verified, instead of letting emotion lead you into a premature conclusion. I know that you have waited a long time to hear an admission, an apology, or at least confirmation that what you experienced was not something you imagined. There were days when you wondered whether you were too sensitive, misunderstood everything, or made a situation more serious than it truly was. When someone repeatedly denies your experience, you can easily begin doubting your own memory and feelings. But my beloved child, you do not need to deny your pain simply because you do not yet possess enough evidence to explain the entire story. What you felt was real to you, and the consequences it left behind deserve attention. Still, genuine feelings do not mean that every interpretation is necessarily correct. I want you to respect your experience while keeping your mind clear enough to distinguish between what you directly know and what you are assuming. Someone who knows what happened may come to you. They may mention a name, repeat a conversation, or reveal a detail that suddenly awakens an old memory. When that happens, do not allow shock to push you into immediate action. Listen fully, ask how they came to know it, and distinguish between what they personally witnessed and what they only heard from someone else. A third-party account may contain truth, but it may also lack context, include additions, or have been misunderstood. You do not need to reject what they say, but neither do you need to place complete trust in one account. If the information concerns your reputation, work, finance, or legal rights, record the details, seek documents, and speak with the appropriate people. Solid truth does not fear careful examination. I saw the times you cried alone, but your tears are not currency used to purchase justice or force life to return something to you. They are evidence that you passed through genuine pain and still remain tender enough to feel. Tears helped release what you could not express. But what brings you out of the past is not only the fact that you suffered, it is how you choose to live afterward. You have begun learning to establish boundaries. Speak honestly with yourself, and stop making another person's regret a requirement for your peace. This is the deepest confirmation. You are no longer someone who must wait for the person who caused harm to admit it before allowing yourself to heal. Justice does not always arrive through a dramatic confession that causes everyone to understand immediately. Sometimes justice means that distorted words no longer possess enough power to define you. Sometimes it appears as a new opportunity through which you rebuild what was affected. At times, justice unfolds as trustworthy people gradually recognize your consistency, while dishonest stories lose their weight over time. And sometimes justice requires you to take practical action. Correct false information. Preserve evidence. Request transparency. Or seek appropriate support. I do not want you merely waiting for an outward sign while wise actions remain within your reach. If someone secretly hoped that you would never discover what they did, even that truth does not give you the responsibility to pursue them endlessly. Some things will be revealed. While other details may never become clear, you can still move forward without possessing every answer. Closure does not necessarily come when another person recounts the entire event. It may begin when you realize that what happened no longer has permission to determine your worth. Relationships or future. You do not need to keep digging into an old grave to prove that something was once hidden beneath it. Sometimes freedom begins when you stop living beside that place and begin building a new home within yourself. If your heart begins beating quickly while hearing these words, breathe very slowly. A strong physical reaction may come from memory, anxiety, stress, or the feeling that the story is touching something you experienced. It does not automatically prove that every suspicion is accurate or that a revelation is taking place. Place your hand upon your chest. Notice your breathing, and remind yourself that you are in the present. You have the right to pause before deciding what to believe. If thoughts of betrayal frequently cause sleeplessness, panic, distrust of everyone, or difficulty concentrating on life, seek a trustworthy person or qualified professional who can help you distinguish clearly. Proper help does not deny faith. It protects you from carrying a burden that is too heavy alone. The voice within your mind may sometimes be discerning observation, but at other times it may be the echo of former wounds. Therefore, do not call every inner warning absolute guidance, but do not dismiss it either. Test it through three things: facts, time, and results. Is what you feel supported by specific behavior? Does the feeling remain steady after you become calm? Or does it appear intensely only when you are tired and afraid, when you act upon it? Does the result bring clarity and safety, or draw you deeper into speculation? Mature discernment does not quickly believe everything, but neither does it force you to ignore practical warning signs. In the days ahead, you may pay closer attention to words, silence, and changes in another person's attitude. But do not turn every mistake into a confession. People can misspeak because of stress, forget details, or communicate poorly without carrying a hidden plot. Look at repeated patterns rather than one isolated moment. A sincere person will be willing to explain, accept responsibility, and adjust when they realize they have hurt you. A manipulative person often avoids questions, changes the story, makes you feel guilty for asking, or pressures you to trust without allowing verification. You do not need to read their thoughts. The way they respond to truth will speak more clearly than any assumption. Perhaps a message, a name, or a conversation will help you connect the missing pieces. If this happens, remember that the purpose is not to make you relive the moment of betrayal, but to help you understand what you must do from today onward. Truth becomes healing only when it helps you establish better boundaries. Choose more wisely, and stop blaming yourself for what another person decided to do. If new information causes obsession, a desire for revenge, or constant investigation, pause before it becomes another cord tying you to the past. You do not need to let their wrongdoing take more days of peace from you. I do not want you to wait for the moment when they finally remember what they did, as though that were your ultimate victory. They may regret it, or they may continue denying it. But you cannot place your future in the honesty of another person. Allow them to be responsible for their choices while you take responsibility for your recovery. If they confess, listen without promising anything immediately. If they apologize, examine whether the apology names the harm correctly and is accompanied by change. If they justify, deny, or blame, you do not need to continue arguing until you are exhausted. Truth does not become smaller because another person refuses to acknowledge it. My beloved child, what is being released today is not a frightening secret, but your right to live without being controlled by what remains unknown. You can seek answers without losing peace. You can trust your experience without turning every feeling into evidence. You can receive truth without using it as a weapon. And you can continue walking even when certain pieces remain missing. This is the strength that removes the authority of what once tried to drown you. You no longer need to sink beneath the water in order to prove how deep it once was. My tears are not for the destruction of anyone. If I weep, it is because I see you finally releasing the need to be validated by others. I see you understanding that truth is more precious than winning an argument, and that peace is greater than knowing every secret. You were not created to drown in the consequences of choices made by someone else. You were called to rise, learn, and become discerning without becoming bitter, strong without becoming closed, and protective of yourself without losing compassion. Therefore, let this week unfold without forcing everything to align with a prophecy. Live normally, observe carefully, and respond to what actually happens. If truth comes, receive it calmly. If nothing appears, do not create another story to fill the silence. You do not need a dramatic event to remember who you are. You possessed value before the confession, before the evidence, and before recognition. Today, allow your freedom to rest in this simple but powerful truth. The past no longer holds the pen. Other people no longer define you. And your peace no longer has to wait for someone finally to tell the truth. My beloved child, the tears you once hid in darkness were never considered insignificant. Because I saw every time you tried to appear normal while carrying pain you did not know how to share. I know there were days when you smiled to keep others from worrying, fulfilled your responsibilities while exhausted within, and quietly endured mocking words because you did not want to create more conflict. Perhaps you believed that your silence meant no one knew what you had suffered. But remember that the value of your pain does not depend upon whether everyone witnessed it. What you endured was real, and so was the resilience that helped you remain standing. I do not require you to write a comment or repeat a number in order to receive protection. Blessing is not opened through a code, and the love of heaven is not distributed according to how many times you interact with a message. What I desire is that you pause long enough to become honest with yourself. Recognize what still hurts, what is exhausting you, and which relationships repeatedly cause you to lose peace. The deepest response is not a word typed on a screen, but the decision that you will no longer neglect yourself merely to keep others comfortable. Someone hurt you, and I understand why, in weak moments, you once wished they would feel the same pain they caused. But I do not want your heart tied to the image of another person being punished. Their regret, if it exists, belongs to the journey they must face themselves. Your part is not to monitor whether they have suffered enough. The most beautiful justice is not that the person who hurt you is crushed, but that they no longer possess the power to determine how you live. When you are restored, bitterness no longer has a place to remain, and old memories no longer command your reactions. The authority of what hurt you has truly ended. I want to place a new dignity upon you, not a crown of pride, but the steady understanding that you do not need to diminish yourself in order to be accepted. You do not need revenge to prove you are strong. You do not need to expose every mistake of another person in order to restore your honor. Speak truth when necessary. Establish boundaries when they are violated. And seek help when a situation is beyond what you can manage alone. But do not allow pain to turn you into someone you once feared. I want you to overcome while preserving gentleness, moving forward without carrying the poison of hatred. Do not believe that a good door will close merely because you failed to remain until the end of a message. What is truly meant for you is not so fragile that one moment of distraction can take it away. A healthy opportunity may require preparation, action, and responsibility, but it does not use fear to control you. If someone tells you that your future will be replaced unless you react immediately, slow down and observe. I do not lead you through panic. A genuine call can be serious, but it still leaves clarity within you. It does not make you feel that you must urgently prove faith or do something unwise in order to avoid punishment. When your attention becomes scattered, it does not necessarily mean darkness is fighting to steal your future. Perhaps you are simply tired, overwhelmed, or accustomed to living amid too much noise. Reduce the sources of stimulation. Rest adequately, and give your mind time to become quiet. Some things you call a great battle actually begin because you have lacked sleep for several days, carried too many responsibilities, and denied yourself recovery. Do not turn every uneasy feeling into a supernatural sign. I want you to care for practical needs as well, because peace is also built through an orderly rhythm of life. If you feel a sudden chill, rapid heartbeat, or unexpected fear, breathe slowly and observe what is happening in the present. These reactions may come from stress, temperature, exhaustion, or an old memory being awakened. They do not automatically prove that an invisible event has entered your life. Place your feet upon the floor. Look around the room and name what you actually see. Awareness is not interpreting every sensation as prophecy. It is the ability to return to the present and distinguish what is real from what your mind is afraid might happen. I know that you desire protection for your home and family. Guard your dwelling through both faith and wise action. Check the locks. Protect personal information. Maintain communication with trustworthy people. And use appropriate measures if there is genuine evidence of intrusion. You do not need to imagine 5 archangels standing around your house in order to feel secure. Protection may be expressed through the wisdom you use to establish boundaries, the care of family, the kindness of a neighbor, or the assistance of responsible authorities when you need help. What is sacred does not separate you from reality. It guides you to act wisely within reality. Certain patterns have followed your family for many years. Fear, scarcity, silence in the face of harm, angry reactions, or the habit of sacrificing too much. These things are not broken through one emotional night. They change when one person becomes courageous enough to live differently. When you learn to state your needs clearly, you are ending a cycle. When you seek support instead of hiding, you are opening a new path. When you manage money with order, care for your health, and refuse to pass on the harsh words you once heard, you are creating a more peaceful inheritance. This is liberation made visible through choices repeated each day. You are not destined to remain forever trapped in poverty, anxiety, or sorrow. But change usually requires both hope and action. If you face financial difficulty, begin by examining your income, expenses, and trustworthy advice. If anxiety persists, prevents sleep, or makes you feel continually watched, speak with a doctor or mental health professional. If a relationship harms you, establish boundaries and seek support. I do not want you sitting and waiting for a miracle while necessary small steps remain directly before you. Help may arrive through a meeting, a plan, wise counsel, or a decision you have delayed too long. Do not immediately believe that someone you once trusted is secretly watching and waiting for you to make a mistake. Someone may genuinely lack goodwill, but you need clear evidence before reaching a conclusion. A glance, silence, or unusual behavior is not enough to prove a plot. Distinguish between what you know and what you assume. If there is specific behavior such as harassment, threats, or invasion of privacy, document it and seek appropriate assistance. If there is no evidence, put down the speculation. Peace cannot grow in a mind that is constantly searching for enemies. Your crown is not power that makes others afraid. It is restored dignity that appears when you no longer seek permission from those who once looked down on you in order to live according to truth. It returns when you stop diminishing yourself, stop chasing recognition, and refuse to surrender authority to mockery. You wear it through humility, disciplina, and kindness. No one can take this from you unless you abandon it in exchange for temporary acceptance. My beloved child, allow today's warning to lead you back into peace rather than push you more deeply into fear. I saw the tears you hid, but I do not want you to continue defining yourself through what you endured. You are also someone who knows how to love, build, learn, and begin again. Allow the past to teach you, but do not let it rule the future. Keep your home secure, your mind clear, and your boundaries firm. What needs to be exposed will be clarified through truth, and what needs to be addressed will have a practical path toward resolution. As for you, continue walking without revenge, panic, or surrendering your peace to threats. I remain near to remind you that the greatest strength is not making darkness afraid, but living in this world with a heart that is no longer controlled by darkness.